What's up, everyone? Walking back to the Cosmo. Got to drop off my bag, and then got a few after hours events. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, day two. Uh, Surviving. This morning was rough because yesterday I was out until like 5 a.m. I didn't even realize. So, but here I am next day. No booth. Didn't go to any booths. I don't have an employee badge, so they were kind of strict on that. It was kind of annoying. So just a lot of dinners and lunches. Hey, Kate, send me merch. I would. I don't even have merch myself. It's kind of funny. I've been at AWS for like a year and a half and have no AWS gear. That's why I mostly wear my GCP stuff. Let's see. This place is like a maze. I'm trying to like figure out how to get back to the Cosmo, but will do, Kate. We need to make a trip back down to Austin again. Your final role play on Friday for your last sales class, Connecting Solutions. Any advice? Yeah, practice a lot. Like they say, practice makes perfect. It's actually true. Try to record yourself, practice pitch in front of like friends and family. That can help a lot. That's got to be Vegas. It is. What kind of glasses do I have? These are. Oh shit! Spilled the White Claw. Um, Pro Design from Denmark. I gotta get a new pair though, because like a dog chewed them up a little bit. We're able to expense the trip. Yeah, like they said that if you didn't have an employee badge, they wouldn't expense it. But I'm just gonna submit the stuff anyway. So I don't see any reason why they wouldn't pay me at this point. But if they don't, it's worth it in the end. Wanted to thank you for your advice a couple of while ago. Currently in tech companies. Yeah, glad that the device helped. I've been getting like daily messages, which has been great from people that have found my content helpful and found their way into tech sales. So kind of keeps me going. Uh, is college necessary? No, it's not necessary. Working advice for a CPA candidate working in PA transitioning tech industry. Try to leverage your background experience. Look at tech companies that would be able to like leverage your CPA experience. There's a lot of like software companies that specialize in that area. So try to do that as much as you can. Worth it? Yeah, I would say it's worth it. Um, or are you asking about the college degree? Got an SDR interview, but they do data center management. Nice. Transition from consulting to tech sales, go for it or not? I say go for it. Actually, I'm going to go this other way, guys. It's kind of like walking in this like highway here. Meet anyone cool at the conference? Yeah, I'm at reInvent. Um, yeah, I was mostly meeting with customers, which was cool, and then some of my coworkers that I hadn't seen in person yet. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, you always run into like interesting people at these events, locals, and then other people at the conference. There's like a couple other after hours events that I'm doing. Like there's like each night there's like 20 of them that are hosted. So like one of them is at the Cromwell with like some celebrity chefs. I'm gonna do that. There's another nightclub thing at Omnia, and then at Drace, and they're all fully covered too. And then I also met some like senior AWS folks, which was cool. Came across an opportunity in SDR program to hire for veterans type thing. Should you full send? Yeah, always full send. That's my advice. Um, like for example, I missed my flight on Monday to Vegas, and then I decided, whatever, fuck it. I'm just gonna spend a night in Chicago instead. Take like the next flight in the morning. Got floor seat to the Bulls game. Took the family out. Had a lot of fun. So always full send. My advice. Transition from car sales to software sales. Should you do it? It depends. Do you like making money with good hours? What's my title? Global Account Manager. Tech sales and suit and tie. What world is this? I know. I only wore it. I'm about to take it off. Um, I had to host a dinner with my customer. I'm gonna post some pictures up. Actually, that reminds me. I gotta take this thing off. I know. Uh, but a lot of people. There were a lot of suit jackets today. So the people that I'm working with are like fairly senior level, like VPs and stuff. So you kind of have to like dress the part. Uh, Interview tips: commercial, enterprise versus commercial AE. So enterprise, bigger deal sizes, things move slower. Um, Usually enterprise is more senior. Not always though. At bigger companies like Google, Amazon, you can actually get to almost like the same level in like SMB or commercial as enterprise. Is base salary negotiable for SDR? Sometimes. Uh, you can try, if they want to negotiate on that. You can try to negotiate based on sign-on bonus, stock. I started as an SDR, got promoted. I got promoted in 10 months, but that was like fast track because I wanted to just kill it. How long would it take to become an AE from starting point using aggressive strategy? You could do it in 12 months, but you got to be very clear with your manager. That's what you want to do. Get a clear list of objectives and what you have to demonstrate. Let's see. Do you offer any sales training or boot camps for current BDRs to get better? I don't right now. I've gotten some requests for that. I've got like a ton of other business ventures that I want to do. One of them being building out like a job board function, doing more consulting, some trainings and programs, but I got to like figure out events or time management a bit better. Can an account manager and an insurance work in software sales? Yep. Am I at reInvent? Yes, I'm at AWS reInvent in Las Vegas. Was I there for the keynote? No, I haven't gone to any of the keynotes or events. I have no employee badge, so I just had my meetings outside of the expo. I think I did 10 meetings total over the 2 days, mostly over like lunch and dinner and stuff, and then I was gonna stay through Friday, but I think I'm just gonna fly back tomorrow. How does one become a senior AE? You become a senior AE by excelling at your core responsibilities within your role, demonstrating control over sales process, being able to close large and complex deals with multiple stakeholders. How did I end up at AWS? What was my career progression? Pretty interesting. So I graduated my undergrad biomedical engineering in 2013, started at National Instruments in 2014 as an application engineer on the software support side. I did that for about 2 years, moved internally into an SDR role, got promoted in 10 months to an ISR role, made the move to a cybersecurity startup to make more money as a sales engineer, got promoted to manager. From there, I got recruited by Google, did sales for Google Cloud, left for better pay at a fintech startup. We did AM machine learning for credit underwriting. COVID layoffs, but I had a lot of other offers, and then ended up joining AWS. Your content got me in tech sales. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. One tip you'd recommend to hit top performer SDR. Yeah, work backwards from your goals. So if you have if your goal is setting, I don't know, set number of meetings per week or activity, figure out what that is, and then work backwards from that to identify what you need to do on a daily basis. So it might be that you have to do 20 calls a day or 25 calls a day, but work backwards from that and break it down to daily activity, and that's going to give you the consistency that you need to be a top performer. Any book you'd recommend for sales? Yeah, look at my Discord. I've been neglecting it, but there is a resource section there, book club actually, and I think I have like 10 books listed there, so check those out. Difference between startup sales and sales at big tech. Big difference is at a startup is that you wear many hats. You're kind of doing a lot of things on your own, but there's less red tape, so it doesn't take like forever to get contracts negotiated or anything like that. Like I was working with like the CEO and CTO pretty much on a daily basis, so you get more aligned with the business. Downside is usually work-life balance isn't as good. You're working like crazier hours. Late nights are pretty often for me. Weekends were often. In my experience, you travel more at startups too. You go to more conferences. Territories are typically larger. I cover the entire U.S., so that made things a little difficult. And then at a bigger company, you've got more resources to kind of help you out. Usually better work-life balance, less upside in most cases, because you're not going to get like crazy stock options or anything at a big company. And the company, it doesn't grow as much. Do you work with your inside reps, SDRs? I do. I have one right now that just got brought on. You got me in tech sales too, man. Changed my life for sure. That's awesome. Love to hear it. Just screenshot that. How many hours a week do I work in my role? Like 20 or 30. Best way to break into tech sales in Canada. Any form of training you would need. There's a couple boot camps you could do, but look at my like playlist, Get Into Tech Sales on TikTok. Check that out. Thoughts on MBA. I did an MBA mostly because it's relatively cheap. I paid like $7,000 for my MBA. 2/3 of it was paid for my employer, so that was after what they paid. I don't think I would do like a full-time MBA unless you were gonna like switch into investment banking or something, and it's like a top 10 program. But for me, it was worth it just to kind of get the credibility, especially when you're talking to like VPs and executives. How did you time manage traveling? How long did it take for you to break 100K? I broke 100K in the second job. So I have a couple videos that I did on salary progression. I think I started like 62K in tech support. When I moved into an SDR role, I went up to like 68K. And then I think by the time I left as an ISR, it was like 75. But then when I made the jump to software, that was the biggest jump. I think I started at like 115, and then went up to like 135. Cloud computing via blockchain? Maybe. The problem with blockchain, I've been in crypto for a long time. The problem is scalability. It's just not there yet. Should you do big tech and then startup, or vice versa? Depends what you want. If you want more stability, big tech could be great. Startups can be good if you know what to look for. Look for startups that are run by a very solid team that's done the whole startup thing before, funded by tier one VCs, a solid product, and you should be in a good shape. But there are like a lot of like sketchy startups too. So were those salaries base or OTE? They were OTE, but for the most part, I've never earned like less than 90% of my OTE. Great questions, everyone. Just walking back to the Cosmo. It takes forever. I gotta like drop off my backpack. I'm not taking this to the clubs or anything. When should you look to move on? Great question. It's always a tough question. When do you move on from your current job? So my opinion is you should always have your eyes open for the next opportunity. What that means is it never hurts to check the box on LinkedIn saying that you're open to new opportunities. You never know what might come along. And in my experience, the best opportunities come when you're not necessarily looking for like a new job. So you have leverage. So be open to new opportunities. And once you get the offer, like don't jump too far ahead. You got to wait until you have an offer in hand. Once you get an offer in hand, that's when you can kind of evaluate what's your current career trajectory? How much would you make if you got promoted? How long would that take? And then how does that compare to the scope and pay of the new offer that you have in hand? And then from there, in my opinion, it's a pretty arbitrary decision. You know, if it's a greater scope, greater pay, um, usually it's better to take the newer job because, I mean, you're looking for a reason, right? You're probably plateauing. You're not satisfied with the work that you're doing. Maybe you're bored. I've kind of jumped around like every 2 years or so, and it's been great for me. Has anyone ever blacked out at a conference? Oh, definitely. I don't think I've blacked out at a conference, but I've gotten pretty lit. Best property value from rent. If work from home, might as well live nice for nice money. Do you leave friends or family to live where you live? Yeah, definitely. When I moved to Austin, didn't know anyone there except, I mean, I developed a lot of new coworker or friends from coworkers, which was great. Um, and then, yeah, all the family was in Chicago. I moved back to Chicago now. I want to move back to Austin next year because I got property there. Um, so I'll be leaving friends and family for that too. Would you say 70/70 is low for mid AE? I would say that's pretty average. Is pre-hired worth the 30K price tag? What you really have to do is you need to do a cost benefit analysis. So I always recommend try getting into these entry level positions yourself. I've got free resources posted. If you don't get any traction after like 4 weeks or something, that's what you can look at doing, like the boot camp. And then from there, don't look at the costs as just like the 30K. Look at it from a cash flow perspective. So they do an income share agreement. So it's like 12% of your pay after you start earning, I think 70K a year. So consider like, if you're only making like 40K a year right now, 70K minus 12% is still a lot more than we're making right now. So look at it from a cash flow perspective, not necessarily from a overall cost. At a startup, and 2/3 of the founders left for another ventures. Recently hired our first sales. Red flag? Potentially. Sometimes founders will leave just because they're bored. And it could also be a good growth opportunity for you too. If there's new leadership that came in, you can hop on that. The jump around companies look bad. From my experience, not anymore. BDRs at AWS aren't really remote. Yeah, they tend to prefer to have the BDRs in person, but everyone's remote right now. would you say playing the level game at Amazon is smart? Yeah, I think doing that at any company is smart. All your pay is based on your level, so you need to understand promotions, understand how to get those. Give your boy a referral. Yeah, give me a like and a follow. I can give you a referral. Um, Not a problem. Why do you think tech sales is so slept on? I think it's just because sales has a bad stigma. I admit I had a stigma against sales. I just imagined like sleazy car sales or insurance sales or life insurance. I hate life insurance salespeople. Um, it's very different. I think that's what it is. Man is walking, answering every question. Dedicated. I do weekly lives. I usually do every Wednesday evening. Podcasts. I've done a couple podcasts. One of them just got posted. I'm going to put a video on it pretty soon. They just published it. I'm doing a couple others. Which industry are you thinking of your startup in a couple of years? Cybersecurity risk analytics, mainly because I worked in that space pretty closely. I saw the demand. The company that I worked at had a really shitty product, so I definitely could do a lot better than that. Are you familiar with ADP? Not too much familiarity. Is that a White Claw? Yeah, mango White Claw. Gotta watch on the carbs. How often do you travel as required? It's going to vary a lot based on the company, based on the territory, based on the position. Some people will be traveling multiple days per week. Other people will travel once every couple weeks for a day or two. So it depends a lot. Favorite perks of the job? I think my favorite perk of the job is just the flexibility that you get. You have a very dynamic day to day. It's almost like running your own business. How much do BDRs make? Nowadays, most offers, because I review offers for people, it's between, let's see, which way do I go? It's between 60 and 100K, depending on the position or the location and the company. How much do top BDRs make? Yeah, I did a video on it. Top BDRs potentially can make 150K. What's the 5-year projected income if you stick to the career? I mean, I've been in software sales probably 6 years at this point, and I'm going to clear close to 500 this year. So, I mean, results vary quite a bit depending on the company that you're at. I have a friend that joined Snowflake. We got into software sales around the same time. He joined before they went to IPO, and now he's making 1.5 mil per year in the same time frame. And on the flip side, I also have some colleagues that are still at my first company, and they're, I don't know, at 95K after 5 years too. So it really kind of depends on how aggressive you are. Some people are just fine with coasting. I tend to be a bit more hungry, I guess. So it depends. There's a lot of variables for 5 years. Nice here, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of a multiple various factors. They raised my commission rate, which was great halfway through the year. They held quota back on the accounts of the COVID. Everything bounced back super quickly. Are there after parties? Yeah. I was at Omnia last night. Today I'm going to go to Tao. And then Drace. What's the next big buy? I think a McLaren. I'm looking at the McLaren MP12, MP412C. I was looking at a few of them. I think they've kind of bottomed out in terms of their resale value. You can get a pretty nice one for 90K. How much prospecting are you doing at the enterprise level? Almost zero right now. Mostly because I only have 2 accounts. So I have the relationship with the executives. At what point did your income no longer improve your quality of life? I don't think I've gotten to that point yet. I think maybe once you get to $1 million a year, maybe it'll start to taper off, but I don't know, even like 300K, you can burn through that pretty quickly. Like I spend $5,500 a month for my apartment, you know, 1,200 on the Tesla, insurance, all these random things. You burn through that money very quickly. Come on, guys, I gotta see which direction I gotta go. Let's see. Very quickly. Come on, guys, I gotta see which direction I gotta go. Let's see. Okay. How do these after parties work? AWS Red Sox clubs. So usually it's partners and sponsors that do these because they want to get just exposure. Is winter a slow time for winter is actually usually a fast time for hiring. They'll hire people usually up until beginning of December, and then it slows down because it's everyone's kind of in holiday mode. Ever scared of losing a deal? I tend to be pretty pragmatic nowadays. There's things you can control, things you can't. Deals you'll always like lose deals for things that are out of your control. My best advice, same with like relationships, is build up your pipeline. Take things one day at a time, and don't put all your eggs in one basket necessarily. Like doesn't mean like, for example, have multiple girlfriends or anything, but when you think about like where you get your happiness from, try to have like a balanced approach. So same thing with sales. If your year is make or break on a single deal, then that could be pretty dangerous, and it could work out well and it could work out poorly. So usually best to kind of balance things out if you can. After 2 years in entry level tech sales above quota, where should you be looking next? You should be looking at like an AE role or some additional skills, become more marketable. I think public speaking skills can help a lot. Look at Toastmasters. Not only will it help you be a better seller, but it'll help you be a better interviewer. The best you can interview, the better you can interview, the better you're gonna, or the better offers you're gonna get and everything. Currently working 50, 60 hours at a startup. Best way to keep high energy. Coffee all the time. Coffee, honestly, the best way is you got to take care of your body. So get sleep, prioritize working out for sure. Eat healthy. Eating healthy is very, very important. Your whole body's connected. If you don't take care of your body and your mind, it's going to affect your work, your relationships, and it's just a negative feedback loop at that point. So, in my opinion, the best investment that you can have is in your health. So exercise, eat well. How hard is it maintain a work-life balance? For me, it's not too bad, but I know some people struggle with it. I'm at Amazon Web Services. Broken in the tech field, because you, man, you're 21, starting at 65K OT. Dude, that's awesome. 65K at 21, you're ahead of the curve, man. You're set for life at this point. Hey, my CEO spoke at the AWS conference. That's awesome. You should tell him to hit me up, and then we could collab on a TikTok. I already had a few people reach out to me from my TikTok. Let's see. What the heck is this? Cosmo. I guess it's this way. What's my opinion on Jobber? I have no opinion because I haven't heard of them before. For you, stay in IC or jump into leadership? It depends. At Amazon and a lot of bigger companies, you can get pretty far as an IC. So people management is like a whole different day-to-day. So it kind of depends on what you're interested in. Do SDRs attend reInvent? It depends if you're on booth duty. If you're on booth duty, they'll have you attend these events. At Amazon, though, typically SDRs don't attend. Would you still be in tech sales if you had 100K passive income? I mean, At this point, I have like 200K passive income, and I'm still in tech sales. So yeah, your CEO is Adina Freeman. Not much contact with her. How do you get good at sales? You're struggling to hit quota. So it's all a numbers game. If you're struggling to hit quota, it means you're not doing something right. Either your activity levels aren't high enough. You're not being as efficient as you should be. It's very easy to like spend a lot of hours and not get the results. So you need to identify what activity actually drives the results that you need, and then focus on that. I get a lot of requests to like do like weekly reports and updates. For the most part, I ignore almost all of that, and I just focus on like what's going to drive revenue and quota attainment for me. What cybersecurity is tools hot to invest in for services? Pretty much everything right now. Cybersecurity used to be a cost center, meaning companies would only invest in cybersecurity tools after a breach. Now, breaches are getting more and more expensive for companies, so they're being more proactive. So, cloud security, I think, is the focus area, just because companies are almost every company is moving to the cloud or is thinking about it. So there's a separate set of cybersecurity tools that you use for cloud versus on-premise. Portfolio summary, stocks, REI, crypto. So pretty basic. Most of my 401ks are in, I do S&P 500 index funds. Keep it simple, low expense ratios. And then I have a couple HSAs. I invest mostly in big tech stocks. I have, I don't know, like 100K in Robinhood that I use for kind of like YOLO plays. Mostly tech stocks as well. I stick to what I know, which is tech. Crypto, not too much. I had like 2 Bitcoin or whatever. Stick to like Bitcoin and Ethereum. REIs, I don't do REIs, but I have a good amount of real estate. 200K base as a tech sales manager. So 200K base is fairly high. It might be hard to get, but you potentially get it. Usually that's like going to be VP of sales level. Or you join a company that gives you a good amount of stock. Let's see. RepView. Yeah, I use RepView. RepView is great. How difficult is it to jump from ERP software to something like AWS or Google? About as difficult as any other jump. ERP is actually a big focus, or one of like the focus areas for AWS and Google. Any of like these legacy workloads, legacy infrastructure, they have sales plays specifically around these things, and very big enterprises have a lot invested there. So, oh, here we go. Here's the Cosmopolitan. I didn't even remember getting back here last night. Financial advice for SDRs or new AEs. So in my opinion, don't worry too much about budgeting when you're super young. If you're already going to be a high performer, let's say if you're making like 100K a year or 80K a year as an SDR, realistically saving an extra 5 or 10,000 that first 1 or 2 years isn't going to make that big of a difference when you're like making triple that much. When you're making like triple that much, like a few years down the road. So you got to balance it with how much stress it's going to give you. Favorite place that I traveled to? I had a really great time in Maui. Did like a baby moon vacation. Traveled the whole island. There for almost like 2 weeks. I think that was one of my favorite places. Dominican Republic was great too. And then within the U.S., I really like Tahoe. All right. Vendition, yeah, Vendition SV Academy. Hey, let's see. The Chelsea Tower. That's where I gotta go. Um, there we go. Yeah, going like in and out of all these buildings, guys, is kind of killing the live a little bit. Sorry about that. Thoughts on the inbound, outbound points? So I would say it kind of depends on what you're comfortable in. Some people don't like cold calling. So if you don't like doing that, then obviously you're going to prefer inbound. But it's a good skill to have, to get comfortable with. That was your Wi-Fi. Yeah, I mean, right now it says good connection. Uh, is it kicking out, guys? Just got turned on by DocuSign. Sorry, man. That's how it is sometimes, though. I think, keep your head up, though. I think for my first software sales position, I think I put in like 70 applications, and I only got like two, or I think I got like 4 interviews and then 2 offers from that. So, easier to hit OTE as an inbound? Probably. It depends, though. They have to be quality leads. That's the thing. Sometimes with outbound, you have more control. What do you say about Vendition? I haven't looked at, so I reached out to their team. They never got back to me. A big reason why I partner with Pre-Hired and Pre-Sales Academy is that they were very responsive. So that tells me about kind of how invested their leadership team is. So, but the program seems solid. They're more of like a recruiting firm, from what I understand, but they don't charge anything, which is interesting. What conference am I at? I'm at reInvent in Vegas. Hey, Scott. Are there any better career to chill than software sales? Probably not. I know people in investment banking, finance, and they're grinding like 60 plus hours a week. Medicine. So I was like, I don't know, even software engineering could be pretty tough too, depending on where you're at. So I don't think so. But it needs to be the right company. If you're at a fast growing startup and you're not delivering, they'll fire you quickly. So things to watch out for. What's the best AE position you've seen that's hiring? I would say Amazon or Google. Comps for first tech sales role. It's gonna be 60 to 100K. Highest offer that I've seen someone recently get was 105K, fully remote. So that's kind of what you're looking at. The Chelsea. Ugh, dude, it's like I'm walking for so long. Bro, you use your tips, but not that many good companies that you mentioned are like LinkedIn. Yeah, find the good companies, reach out to the head of sales. The sales teams are always growing, especially at startups. So even if they don't have the positions open right now, um, make those relationships. Got to take clients to Fleming's Steakhouse and Jazz Game 2 weeks ago. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that traveling and whining and dining is back. Like I haven't done any of the no booth duty for me. No sessions, just kind of going out to events with customers. What event company was 105K? Uh, it was People Data, I think. I gotta look it up again. Send me a message. Software sales is the best, but everyone's too scared to do it. That's why it pays. So companies pay the amount of money that they pay based on supply and demand. Okay, so and usually it's not like super fun. Otherwise, people would do it for free. But that's why some of these jobs pay a lot, is because there's just not as many people like doing it or willing to do it. Have I heard of the company Ahead? I have not. Yep. Comps at my first tech sales. So the first company I did sales at they were more on the hardware side. They paid me, I think, 68K as an SDR in Austin. This was back in maybe 2015, 2016. And then it went up from there. Conference, AWS reInvent in Vegas. Your comments aren't showing. Yeah, comments are kind of wonky on this. So cybersecurity, yeah, it's a hot field for sure. That's why I want to do a startup there. I want to do a startup. My goal is 100 million net worth by 40. So the only way I'm going to get there is by doing a startup. Does working at Amazon warehouse help with Amazon sales app? Yeah. If you're working at Amazon, they do a lot of emphasis on internal transfers. What do you think about 40K base uncapped commissions for an SDR? Not bad. Doing a program through for Tanza. Nice. Top companies to apply for. I got a couple of videos on it. Look at RepView for top companies. 105K was OTE. Yeah, OTE. Is 40K base a trash? No, I mean, for SDR roles, you'll see like 40 to 60K base. What's my net worth? About 2 mil. Best verticals to get into currently in data management. Cloud is great. Cybersecurity is great. Snowflake up there with AWS GCP roles? I would say it's up there, yeah. Snowflake is probably one of the best startups you could be at. Seamless AI is always hiring 40K base. That's where you work. Yeah. A lot of companies will just have like set packages for entry level people, which makes sense. Never went to college, but 5 years sales experience. Do you have a chance? Yeah. One of the best sales reps I knew at like the prior company I was at, he ran like a food truck for like 5 years or whatever, and then went to tech sales. Do you have any outside ventures for the goal? I do. I've got a couple like consulting things related to TikTok, but in order to hit that goal, definitely need to scale, and the only way to scale at that level is creating a startup, building value, generating revenue, getting valuations at like 10, 20, 30x revenue, or even like 100x in some cases, and then getting that VC money. That's pretty much the only way. Any ideas what to do with 100 mil? Lots of ideas. That's where, like, for me, like, money is about the freedom that it gives. But I really want to do a brewery, a vineyard, have a ton of Airbnbs and all the places I want to visit, and then charity work. Am I boozing? Yeah. Um, it's going to be a relatively late night again. You think TikTok will make more money than your corporate job? Potentially. Maybe next year. Just want you to know you successfully joined Prehard. Congrats, man. Any good tech sales internships that you know of? Amazon is a good one. Do you think 45K, 65K OT is livable? I think it's livable in most cities. If you're young and you don't have a relationship, you know, roommates is a great option. I work at Amazon Web Services. I have my LinkedIn in my bio. Like, people message me on like Slack. So the cat's out of the bag. All right, guys, great questions. I got to drop off my bag, and I'm off to the Cromwell. There's a celebrity chef that's there. It's one of the after hours events. And then I'm going to go to Omnia and Drace. So will be a long night. And then I'm probably going to fly back to Chicago tomorrow. But I might do a stopover in Colorado to do a collab with engineer Amber. She's a sales engineer. If you guys don't follow her, she's got some good content too. But thanks, everyone. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Happy to answer those. And then check out my playlist for getting tech sales in my bio. I've got a bunch of interesting links, but pre-hired, pre-sales academy, 2 great options there. And then look at like the Discord. I've got some free resources on there too. I'll be adding more stuff too. But thanks, everyone. Have a great night.